The masking of our souls. I want to welcome everyone to another edition of Guidance for the Soul Live. Now, this is not about my soul connecting with your soul on a soul level, is it? I want you to know I'm always in the field of guidance, whether or not I'm in a masked soul or not. Let's talk about that. As a channel, am I wearing a mask? Correct? This is part of my process. I always go into that field of vision of I'm connecting with higher source of vision. It doesn't mean that it's less than. Others are going to start questioning whether someone's field of vision is of the highest. And in doing that wisdom, you would sometimes start to understand that guidance from a soul level is of the utmost. It's like the diary of Anne Frank. We're going to talk about that. Do you want to know what those kinds of visions produce for us in this world, right? These are those visions of love that can come through, that can ask us the question, who am I? And where do I figure out where I come from, right? Many people are placing masks of love on their hearts when they don't feel it in their minds. That's all that is. It's a mindset that many place upon themselves that say, I'm in the highest vibration and therefore I continue to create with that. That is one field of vision. What you would understand is that once we go to the love of all, which is not easy by any means, because it means you understand that whatever vibration that I vibrate in is where I'm going to attract those visions of love of all. Do you understand why we love ourselves fiercely first? Some people would say that sounds wicked. That's the nature of who I am, right? Many will place that vision upon me because I don't declare myself less than others who have risen to other levels of understanding. But does it mean that I demean who I am on a soul level because I don't necessarily what? Claim someone as superior than myself as a soul? Or are we all there vibrating in various visions, enjoying ourselves in the moment? You see, this is what I want for all of us to do. I want all of us to sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. You may or may not get those fields of vision that you are hoping for. This is part of those ideas of I am more than who I am here. I do not just vibrate in the beauty of one soul, one life. Therefore, for those of you who are wondering, what part of you are you exposing? See, most of us are going to assume that by talking about the masking of our souls, we come here cloaked, right? It could be in anything. It could be in spiritual enlightenment. It could be spiritual guidance, right? Who says who is a guide? We all guide each other when we gaze upon each other in the field of vision of I love who you are. What we don't do is we don't demean the vision. Others will cloak themselves in the vision of I am of religion, and yet I do not abide by all of the visions that were handed down by my family tree. And so we put on the mask for our families when we align with them. And then when we walk along the plains of discovery, we soon decide, I love who I am wherever I walk. I don't need anyone else telling me how to be beautiful or to be loving to others. That's where many are kind of figuring this out. It's not about telling somebody how to be, but that's what we have gone through in this process of soul embodiment. And we start to take off the mask of deception, intrigue. Religious authority is where many align themselves with. And for those of us in the field of spiritual enlightenment, we say, it's like enlightening my heart to those who now say, I get it. This is the empowerment of our souls. If I feel frisky in the moment, do I get to express that in the field of vision of I am of love, right? That's what someone else would say. We've been inhibited in our expression based on various ideas placed upon us either by our friends, our family, society, as well. Think carefully about what this vision is. This is not to deter those who want to rise in the beauty of faith. That's your beauty. Enjoy it. Relish those moments of faith-driven, it's like God-given grace. Okay? That's the beauty of it. For those of you that rise in that vision of it and can express the beauty of who you are no matter where you walk. That's what is of Jesus. It's going to be of Christ for the most part. Jesus, the soul, is not as determined to come through for those of you who are hoping to hear from that soul's vision and say, Brenda knows who that soul is, very much so. Do not demean her heart when she says, I love his soul. I just don't want to enforce any one faith over another. Okay, that's that soul's vision of love. I walk hand in hand with Christ is where most will go at some point. Okay, it's an enlightenment of who we are. The tears of joy are coming for those who know what that vibration feels like. Okay, it's of heart. Okay, now, for those of you who know who I am, I understand that field of vision of love of all. It's a process of discovery when you enjoy the vision of I am all that and more. That's where many go in the field of I am of spiritual enlightenment. I'm taking off the shackles of my family's idea of what faith is for me, or my friends' vision of who they think I am, or my society's conditioning about who I am versus who I am on a soul level. I don't always align with societal impact visions in my heart, but they often do need to come through, and I want to talk about that. I get the field of vision of Anne Frank on a soul level. Is she still a child in the moment? As of yet, we would say her soul continues to create. Do you want to hear what it's like to create that vision for many? When we say, are we in danger of that? How many are putting on a mask saying we are nowhere near the vision of that destructive soul that conditioned himself to be of superior mind, body, and soul, right? His soul was destroyed. It was one of the few that was actually conditioning itself to be of destruction, and it was brought to him in that same vision. With Anne Frank, though, her vision is, I don't want to be remembered as a victim. I want to be cherished as a soul who brought through the wisdom of that experience. And I want to tell you that I say it's like bust some britches. There's something going on with someone who would say this is not about mask. How many know that when we go through the field of soul embodiment, we often vibrate in the field of children and ask ourselves those questions very gently. Who am I? Can I enlighten myself to who I was as a child? Can I remember who I wanted to be as a child? Those visions of innocence are what we yearn for again. We come here innocent. Others will say we vibrate in the beauty of sin or of I am a flawed vision. How many dare take on the vision of I am? That's who we are. That's the eternal I am, right? Well, those visions of Jesus as a soul and his vision of I am of more than one means that many are going to have a hard time connecting with those ideas of religious aspirations versus those who are in the field of vision to I'm here to embody my whole soul as much as I possibly can and take off the conditioning of society that says I have to be pure in my heart. Purity is a subjective vision. How many people want to know how to look in the eyes of a soul of a child and say you are flawed, you are a sin? The sinners of the world reunite in the vision of we align with those ideas of I am of bad. It's like various degrees of conditioning that are being brought through for those who understand the vision, and for those who would say, Jesus came here to let us rise out of the vision of negativity for our souls. If you want to hear a negative vision of who you are, you're in the wrong spot. You will be emboldened. You will be empowered. You will be enlightened to the nature of who you are, who your soul is, which is not always who you think it is. Who do you align with is where most people go. I want to place a mask of conditioning upon my soul. It keeps me safe. That's where the majority of people go. It is a safety mechanism for many. If I am not conditioned in a system that says that I am safe when I arrive at my next destination, you are not about to feel the vision of safety when you go to soul embodiment or of enlightenment. It's like taking off the shackles of that idea that I need to be saved from anybody. I am no longer a victim of anybody. I am no longer in the mindset of I need to be like freed from anyone's slave state. I am is who I am. I don't need to vibrate in the beauty of a slave, nor do I need to vibrate in the beauty of anybody else's ideas of who they think I should be. I love you for who you are. You may not understand it. Does a system or a book define who I am? On a soul level, it helps me create more beautiful visions of love, no matter what the system, no matter what the book, no matter what the field of vision is. I can sit and daydream my way into an ecstatic state. How many people want to know what that's like? I can sit and daydream into the field of vision of beauty for all. How many want to know what that's like? So what is this mask that we often place upon our hearts? We want to be free of the pain. We want to be free to be me, right? I am. That's that soul's vision. But in doing that vision, what often happens is people will assume that there is a conditioning. It's like, by and large, it's a freedom movement that most are like working towards in the field of spiritual enlightenment. It doesn't mean it's about trying to create havoc. We all utilize various ideas, tools, systems, and ways of becoming more of who we think we want to be versus who we are. And then when you go to soul, they start to show you who you really are. I hear it coming back to me, by the way. I'm an author of a book. As a child, I wanted to write. I didn't have the resources handed to me like many do. That's where Anne Frank was. She's like, I was of a diary, and it became a book. She's of source. She's of love. She's of faith. She's of wisdom. She had the wisdom, the strength, and the grace to keep her writing simple and clear, and very much unique in its expression of wonder at the world. The wonder of you, right? This is another vision. She's of wonder. You create from the field of I am so beautiful, or I'm so blessed to be in this world of wonder, asking ourselves the questions of who am I, or where do I want to go? Where do I want to create? Who do I want to create with? Where do I want to be when I grow up? Right? That's where she was. As a soul, she is embodied by many who love her. She is of beauty and strength. So when I say to you that your own visions of love are being handed to you, you would start to understand the field of vision of take off the mask, right? Some of us are in need of those masks in order to allow ourselves to align with others in the moment. I am the perfect example of that vision. When I go into the field of guidance, am I aligning with those of love? See, some will say that's a bad thing to do, to place a mask on ourselves. It's of importance for many who say my safety depends on it. I have to pretend to be somebody that I'm not. That's where many rise. I'm going to put on a whole new look. I'm going to rise in the beauty of who I am. Do I want to be known for the looks that I receive when I walk down the streets? How many of us know we're conditioned to be others than who we are? How many people would say, I'd rather wear one outfit over another, but I know that in this place and space and time, I'm expected to be a certain way. These are all those ideas of what we break free from until we start to feel the beauty of it. So if we can align with the idea of, I love who I am when I feel good about who I am, that's what your soul wants you to be. Feel good about who you are. And if those systems make you feel beautiful or aligned with the highest, by all means, keep those visions coming, because they keep creating from it. That's the beauty of it. When you go to your own soul's vision of love, they will give you that vision of I am of sin, but they will also give you those visions of higher love that you crave. And those in the field of enlightenment know, when I create from the space of I want or I need, I often fail to achieve that exact same vision. Unless you understand that it keeps reinforcing and you keep going higher and higher and higher. If you're just in the field of vision of I am of love, I am of love, I am of love, that's what you're going to keep creating. If you're in this space of it's like I'm a victim of something and I need to be free of something, you don't need that vision anymore. You are always free, you just haven't brought it to you. You're free of anything and everything that doesn't serve you. You just haven't aligned with those things that do. That's the nature. Maybe my mind is holding me back. I'm playing the game of life. I know how to manipulate the world to my benefit, is where many go. And inside, they're very insecure in their own being. We have our moments as Brenda's soul. She's very insecure in certain aspects of her light. And she's nailing it down what it was that was holding her back. I was pretending to be understanding of everybody's soul vision. How can I possibly undertake that soul's creative endeavor? I'm not even sure what the words were. So for her vision, knowing that the words of Jesus have been tampered with in those mighty books of love, she says, I will wait for that soul to come into fruition in other ways. That's her soul strength, to know when human hands have touched those books and altered the visions to suit those in the moment. It does not mean it's not of love, but she does not take those visions as truth for all. They are truth in the moment for those who read it and align with it. Okay, and that's the beauty of it. If you align with those systems and it's like they let you express yourself in the beauty of who you are, by all means, keep going with it. It's going to serve you well. You'll see your life open up into a myriad of ways of beauty that keeps shooting like stars sparking around you. You have the ability to take this to the next level. When you go to soul embodiment, you rise and you honor. Now, many who are going through the process are being looked at as they are crazy or they are victims of something evil. This is another vision why we don't utilize certain aspects of religion or soul vision that others are placing upon those of lesson. They are assuming there is something to be afraid of other than, where am I? We must lift ourselves up into the vision. And for those children who are being victimized on a soul level, we would say, amen, right? Some people are putting prayers of love for those souls who are now starting to understand the resistance that many are having to certain fields of study. If you come about with the idea that evil is something that we embody, you have never touched the soul of love. Because when you do that vision, you realize that the only thing I'm attracting is what I am putting out in the world. When you start to embody the vision of I see evil everywhere, guess what that means? You vibrate in it. That's the nature of law of attraction. That's where the religious alignments are starting to find themselves struggled. They keep putting out evil, and yet they are not aligning with the love of soul. They would not be projecting evil onto anyone if they truly did love their neighbor. Do you see the strength of soul coming through? I love you. I think there's something wrong with you. That's a projection of less than. You have projected a value system onto my own heart. I agree to disagree is where many go. That's all. It's about just saying, I can understand, or I love you for who you are. This is what is serving you best. Now, the masking of our souls is still there to be discovered. How many of us know we put on a public face and yet we have our private face? If you are not doing that, God bless you, right? I mean, that's what a lot of people are expecting to hear, these visions of religious revelation. It's not about that. If you go back to my videos and to the post, you will start to see the strength and the beauty of all souls, whether or not they vibrate in the beauty of faith or not. I am of science. Do I disregard everyone who has no field of vision of I am of religion or I am of faith? Most people aren't walking in their vision of faith when they go out and they do harm, correct? How many people understand that? They're creating with other souls. That's the strength of soul vision, is you start to hear from those souls that you create with and you say, thank you for showing me who I am. Others would say, thank you for showing me who you are. But in essence, it's an aspect of who we have attracted into our field of vision. And that's why I love you all. Because you have enough strength and determination and forgiveness within your own hearts to say, oh, I get it. I know why I align with those who make me feel good. Then why are you aligning with those who are not? What is it in your mind that says that these souls who are in your field of vision, who you do not like, are somehow less than who you are? Because if you deny them their beauty, you have just done the same to yourself. Take off the mask of conditioning. What would Jesus say is where many go when they're in those fields of vision. This is not a condemnation of anyone's soul. It's an enlightenment of it. I love who I am when I'm in the field of vision of guidance. I also know I have my own struggles with certain ideas when I go into my mind. When I go into the field of vision of I am of my life and my soul is with me all the time, I don't have to worry about who I am. I align with the best of the best. What does that mean? That's for those souls that say, I get it. Anyone who has ever done a field of study of religion would understand that there are 5,000 various fields of vision that people look to as higher sources of vision. Do you understand the reason that we might not be relying on one source as the best? It is literally an expansive vision of conquest that many are undertaking within the field of vision. This is not about saying that is the best. This is about all of us doing our work to align with our higher visions, our highest goals, our highest faith, if that is the word that you choose to use. It's more like the inner embodiment of my light. That's where we go. Now, when those trees of life come down, because as a soul, you hear from those family trees of old, right? Not really. You'll start to hear from your own soul visions of those family tree members who align with you, who say, I felt rejected by my family because I didn't align with who they thought I should be. And now we create beautifully on another field of vision. How's that for wisdom coming through? Okay, many people are saying, I want my own guidance. So let's talk about that idea. This is one of those soul sessions where people are going to get a little triggered in some ways, but they may start to understand the beauty of what soul vision is. When you walk across the street and you hear someone's guidance system coming to them, or their vision actually, which I did within the last week or so, I get my future handed to me from various souls, those who I agree with and those who I don't even really know. It could be a show on the screen that I get told what's coming my way. This is the strength of my own soul's vision for me. This is where I align. And I get told about my friends and family and those who I come into contact with. Now, for those of you who are wishing for a soul session, I do want to always recommend that you go to my website, brendagervais.com. If you want to find out a little bit more about either my vision or my soul or my wisdom in how to reach out to me, you can always ask questions on the screen. I can't answer questions during the lives because I don't have access to the chat, and I'm in the field of vision of discovery for all. Okay, at some point I will be doing more of that one-on-one with soul visions, and that means, Mary, you're blessed by Jesus. That's how strong that message can come through. I've given those messages from that vision of what that higher level of love wants to come through. And that's the nature of it. It's not about saying I'm not in cohorts with somebody. It's literally about whether or not I align in my heart. And I always have. I've always felt a special connection to that soul. But I don't force that vision on others. I don't expect others to be in that when I go to the outer realms of discovery. I'm more of the let me discover more of who I am from fields of vision that are unknown. And that's where others will say, ooh, that can be interesting. It can be awesome and it can be a little scary sometimes. But it's more about overcoming the fear of discovery. Many of our pioneers of soul were not afraid of discovering who they were first. And then they went out and they said, let me take my hands of my soul and let me guide myself to a place that feels beautiful for me. That's the nature of where many go. They go to that idea of, I want to know someone when I cross over into that other field of discovery, who I know and trust to be of the highest in my heart, and who will guide me to a place that's best for me, to then take off the conditioning of this plane of discovery, to expand my field of vision into the guidance of love of all, is where many go because they haven't necessarily embodied that vision. And then you rise in it and you feel the beauty of it. And then you can create more from that as we move into other levels of love. Levels of love. That's the next vision of guidance for the soul. But I want to honor everyone. I know most people didn't get their unique expressions brought to them. Flowers are being arranged for someone on the soul level, and I want to honor that vision. That's a message for you. You know who you are. It's going to come through. You're going to get them very often. There is a soul there who knows I like flowers very often. That's your soul telling you. If you don't get them from somebody, you bring them to you in various ways. And they're like, it's like, reach for the stars, honey. Reach for the stars. That's what we want for all of you, is to reach for those higher visions of whatever it is that aligns you with the beauty of who you are. You can't wish for a more loving expression than that unless you're going to that field of vision of I am of struggle and I need some guidance. When you're in that vision of I need guidance, I will let you know. Place your hand in the arms of an angel. So that's another vision. This would be someone else who vibrates in the beauty of an angel vision and who would say, I am with Michael, right? That's the nature of it. I am of safety with that vision. I am of love. I am of courage. I don't need to be afraid of who I am. Wherever I walk, I'm guided by love. I'm guided by that soul that takes his heart into that field of vision of we are all that. We are all that. We are more than who we are here. We create with those fields of vision of love for each and every one of us. Those are those higher wisdoms that can come through. I'm beautiful. I'm guided. And I'm soul. And that's all that we really need to keep enforcing in our minds is that vision, and then you start to rise in it and you're able to bring through the beauty of who others are. That's what people understand. Anyone who has gone through the process of soul embodiment and have that vision of I am of guidance, you will guide others, because very few people actually take on the vision of I am of soul and don't honor the vision of love of everybody, because it's so hard on the heart to disregard anybody as less than when you rise in the vision of I am of soul, because that's where we are. We're souls. We're here creating beauty, and we rise in it. So with that, I want to say thank you. To those of you who need a session from Michael, that's another vision. It's like it's not as respected as the Christ soul, but in essence, he has his moments of prayer for those of you who are in need of it. Now, many will say this is a little out there. Do you want to know what it's like to hear prayers of love when you yourself aren't in the vision of prayer? I give prayers to people I don't know as Brenda, because that is what their soul requires. So when we look into the field of vision of love, we say, may we be blessed with peace, prosperity, love, and health, right? That's the vision of where we are right now. I am of health. I create from it. I align with it. I own it. I'm not sick. I am of health. That's what we wish for all of you. We know many are in the field of vision of ill health, and we want you to understand that is where Brenda was struggled. I myself am undergoing a transition phase in my development of medical intuition and healing. So when I say I can heal you, I know what that means. I know how it feels, and I understand the struggles that we place upon our hearts when we don't feel it as fast as what we would like. I can do that vision for you. I can honor that vision for you, and I can strengthen that vision for you. What I would say is, move over, Michael. Here comes the best of the best, right? We are all doing these visions in the spiritual enlightenment vision. For the most part, it is about self-healing, self-embodiment, self-strength, self-guidance. Okay? At some point, most people will not actually need anyone to heal who they are. They just vibrate in the beauty of, I don't need any illness or sickness to show me where my mind is, to show me where those issues are in my mind. My own jaw was retracted in a way that allowed for some illness to creep in. And that vision is slowly easing its way out, slowly going away. So with that, I want to say thank you for your love and attention. Enjoy your visions of beauty wherever you rise. And if you aren't in the vision of, I feel uplifted and motivated to take on a new day, maybe, just maybe, you could reach out to your own soul and say, show me the way. Show me the way to discovering who I am. Or we would say, more of who we are. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness is where many of us align with right now. Please don't be offended by the nature of love of impactful videos that are there to shift our awareness from one of love of country to love of all. It's all love. What those fields of vision are about showing us where we divide ourselves from the field of vision of love of all. So with that in mind, I want to say thank you again and have a wonderful, wonderful day.